Hello, I'm trying to do the expenses video, so I apologise if it's a bit bitty, because I don't quite know how to explain it properly. Bearing in mind my expenses, this video isn't based on me specifically. There are some things in here that I won't necessarily claim for, and there are probably bits that I haven't said that other people do for needs, obviously, within the UK. I'm not necessarily going to talk about money because for me personally, my amount would be very different from someone else. Like, I live in a really expensive area of England, and up north, as it were, the cost of living is nowhere near as high, and yet some of their expenses are higher than me because their husband's jobs probably, I don't know, worth more, or their job. Like, one of my friends is a solicitor, so her loss of earnings is greater than ours, even though she's up north and the cost of living there's less, if you see what I mean. So there's not much point about going over the amount of money because it really is hugely variable. But of course, when it comes down to pregnancy expenses and post-pregnancy, as in just after giving birth, you are allowed to throw that in as well, because obviously you've got recovering expenses, I suppose I should call that. So obviously the very first one is loss of earnings, and this is greatly variable. I mean, some people use annual leave, and so they only top up extra things. Some people can use statutory maternity pay, but again, you only get 90% for so many weeks, and then it's down to like statutory maternity pay, which is a lot less than wages. So it very, as I said, that one is probably the biggest variable out of all of them, because it really does depend if it's your loss of earnings or yours and your partner's loss of earnings. You know, what their job is, what your job is, how long you're off, why you're off. All of this makes a huge thing. It's like if I was hospitalised, our loss of earnings would still be significant per month, even with government assistance. As in, if I was off, I don't know if we could claim, because over here you can get housing benefit, like council tax benefit. Though someone said to me council tax benefit doesn't exist anymore. I'm not really sure, because I'm sure unless they up the amount people get on like job seekers, I don't know how it works. I don't know. But if you can get council tax benefit or whatever you have now in place of that, if we got that, then it would be less, still well over, coming up to like £2 grand a month for us personally. But if we didn't get any help with the housing and stuff, our loss of earnings per month would be higher, and that is like a significant chunk. So that is probably the biggest one. Other ones are like car related, so you've got fuel. So yeah, you have fuel for the car, so that's like, and don't forget that that's not like a daily fuel. You don't get to like drive your car around the country singing to yourself. What I'm talking about here is to appointments, to visit your IP. Some people claim that. I never did, but that was me. Though they did give me a new tyre when Darren managed to rip my tyre when he was parking badly on the curb, and they did actually get that, because of course I didn't have any money on me at that moment because I was going for lunch at my friend's house. Yay, Darren. But my friend's house being my IPs. But yeah, you get fuel for the car for doing all of your appointments and everything. Fuel, you can get a wear and tear, some things. I've never claimed that myself, but you can put that in because, of course, your mileage is going up. Though I think with the tyre issue, I kind of did get a wear and tear payment. So, yeah, thank you, guys. I still feel bad about that. I did tell them to deduct to get out of my expenses, though. They did do that in the end, I think. I never checked. We could be having arguments. Anyway, you do get a food budget thing, and this it sounds bad, but it's healthy eating. So you get a budget for like fresh fruit and veg and all that lot, especially if you don't necessarily have that in your diet as well. Convenience foods, which I said before, isn't just takeaway. At the beginning of pregnancy, you have really bad morning sickness. Sometimes it may be takeaway. It may be things that your husband can cook, because the smell of food makes you upchuck, and that did happen to me. If I smelt food cooking, I threw up. So Darren did actually have to take over cooking. So of course, what we were having as dinners ended up being, sorry, Edie wants a snack. There you go. They're natural fruit thingies. So yeah, what we were buying ended up being different, because Darren couldn't necessarily cook the same dinners I could, didn't have the same time, but he kind of had to, because I just vomited. And I couldn't do, and I don't really like puking in the sink, so that, you know, caused a bit of a problem. Or felt really, really, really stomach sick. And then cravings. You do get a little bit of a budget for cravings, like if you crave ridiculous things. One of my friends posted she was happily munching on chalk last night, and she's a surrogate. Okay, sweetie. And then supplements, like pregnancy supplements and everything, that sort of usually goes in. I buy my pre-pregnancy ones, because as soon as I think I might be getting a match in that 3 months getting to know you period, because I could change my mind like I did with my last match. as I said, excuse me, hiccups. I was the one that walked away, and I did purchase my vitamins. So she did cover half of them, which I feel bad about. So I'll probably send her some money in the post because I feel bad because, you know, she didn't have to do that. But at the time, that's why I brought my own, because I saw them on offer and I felt more secure doing that. Not that at that point, by the way, not that wasn't like a psychological I thought it would fail. I'm that way inclined. I'm weird. Maternity clothes. Bearing in mind, this does cover, like some people say, oh, you could wear your husband's clothes or you could wear your old clothes. Well, firstly, by the time you've worn them throughout an entire pregnancy, that most of them are buggered. They're completely out of style if you have a couple of years things. Your weight can fluctuate. Like the next time I'm pregnant, I will need new clothes because I'm going to be skinnier than I was with my first surrogate pregnancy. And if you are like me and you only get like key pieces, by the time you're done wearing them day and night for what, 6 months, they are buggered. You can't really go on then. You can't really are you excited? You can't really wear them again because they are bobbly, baggy, faded, awful looking things. Maternity nightwear, do you say? Hangnail. Yeah, maternity nightwear. You only need a couple of things, but just I've seen them before. Now you can get cheaper ones, but they're not cheap really to get them. So then what was it? Maternity underwear, Snickers, bras, stuff like that. Post-birth clothes, you only get a couple of bits, so like leggings and baggy t-shirts for when you've just given birth because your normal clothes don't fit. You get that in-between phase. Again, not everyone claims for that, but some people bundle it in with the maternity clothes. They're just breaking it down. Sanitary wear. Sorry to be gross, but a lot of ladies know you are wearing panty liners throughout pregnancy sometimes, especially if you do IVF and you've got, you're doing pessaries for the first few months of pregnancy and they leak. So yeah, sanitary wear is for pregnancy as well as when you've just given birth. Pregnancy aids, and what I'm talking about here is like anti-sickness aids, like C-bands. Some people do those preggy pops. Some people do acupuncture, all that jazz. So sort of pregnancy aids, sickness aids. You also get like support bands. I got a pregnancy pillow to help. I'm trying to think of other things. There is, but it's gone. Sorry. Another big one is childcare. Now that can be very costly. I mean, it really does depend on child. Like George and Ice don't cost as much. So, because they can go to a before school and after school one, as long as it's within term times, if I was hospitalised. If I wasn't, it would cost an awful lot more. I've only got one child that would need full-time childcare had I be if I was hospitalised, and my husband's off the weekends. So that would be less if it was term time sickness. But if I was sick in the half term, I've got 3 kids. Other surrogates have got 4, 5, 6 kids, 3 of which would be full-time care because they're preschool age regardless. So, you know, that is a hugely variable one again. Things like a chiropractor or physiotherapy, if you have things like SPD, which is symphysis pubis dysfunction. I did have that. Very painful condition sometimes just an annoyance. But yeah, not great. Cleaner. Some people need that because, again, with conditions or if you were signed off of work, or bed rest or whatever, and you physically can't do that and your husband's working, so you get a cleaner. Again, with a gardener, that's the same sort of thing. If you can't physically do the garden but it does need maintenance, some people will have to get a gardener because of pregnancy complications. Kennels, also if you're hospitalised, or cattery, if you need a pet carer, so it's kennels, cattery, pet carer, any of that stuff, that's all sort of lumped in as well, because again, and people say, oh, you're throwing a lot in there. But the thing is, if you are unable to do something because of a pregnancy and you have to pay out someone to do that for you or help do something for you because of the pregnancy, then that does count as a pregnant expense. And that's why I think people don't realise just how much it costs. Because if you do need that, it really, really does add up to significantly more than I think you'd realise. And if you sat there, personally, if anyone wants to say, oh, you can't spend more than £2,000 being pregnant, if you want to sit down and add in the cost of panty liners per week, add in maternity towels and those big things to go on your bed, which they recommend, they're like puppy pads. I actually did use puppy pads. I'm classy. And added fuel and parking. Parking, sorry, I forgot to mention that one, for hospitals is extortionate. It's like £5 because you go in for a scan, you never ever, it doesn't matter if you go in, you have to go in early just in case. And I don't mean like massively early, but you end up going in there a bit early. And then you sit there for like 4 hours and it cost me about £5 to park every time at my local hospital. Not even kidding. And then, yeah, you add it all together. Just seriously, just play with it. Add it all together. Add in all of that. Roughly what it would cost for 6 weeks. Don't you dare pass that, Mrs. Midget. Off of stuff, and go with that, and just add it all up. Really, that's all I can say. And find out how much. Sorry, her hair's coming down. It's sort of tied at the back and it's hanging out. Hi. So yeah, add it all together, and it always works out more than you actually realise. So yeah, that's my pregnancy expenses thing. I hope it was some help. Sorry it's kind of long, but yeah, that's it. I'll see you later. Bye.